Bachman's Basement is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to Bachman's Basement. This is where we talk about the quiet stories, the short ones, the ones that don't roar, they smile. Tonight's story doesn't begin with blood. It begins with spring. New York City, May of 1963, an evening so soft it feels like forgiveness, and a young man walking briskly up 3rd Avenue with his hand already in his pocket. Spring, the city, and a man in love. Stephen King opens the story like a love letter to the city. The air is beautiful. The sky slides from blue into violet. People linger in doorways, smiling for no reason at all. An old woman pushing grocery calls out, "Hey, beautiful." He smiles and waves. She thinks what everyone else thinks. He's in love. And we'll stop there, and let me introduce you to my co-host, Chris Clawson. How you been, brother?
I've been really good. How you been, man?
I'm doing okay. I watched this week, but I watched this documentary called Bloody Nose in Empty Pockets, which is a line from a Drive-By Truckers song called Checkout Time in Las Vegas. And it's about a small bar that's been open since the 70s in Las Vegas, and it's last night of being open. And all of the regulars who hang out there coming out to say goodbye to the bar. And it's just filmed as everyone talking and telling their stories and just their interactions with one another. It's kind of the way it's filmed is very detached. The story is more about the community of that bar. And it was pretty great. I think it was on Mubi, which is a streaming service. I would recommend it. Anyone out there that's looking for something to check out, that was a pretty good documentary. I think it's MUBI. It's a new streaming service I picked up because I wanted to watch. Yeah, I wanted to watch that other movie, the Jennifer Lawrence flick. Trying to remember what the hell that thing is called. I watched it and was texting you about it because
I know.
That shit crazy. Die My Love. That was the name of that movie. It's got Batman himself, Robert Pattinson, in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows like a woman going through postpartum depression.
I remember vaguely when that was coming out, like the trailers for it. I didn't see it, but I love Jennifer Lawrence, and I will definitely give that one a watch. What is I missed the title of the bar closing documentary.
Bloody Nose and Empty Pockets.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that one out too.
It was very interesting. It's kind of depressing in a while. You know, there's a big sense of community with your local watering hole. If you've ever been someone who frequented the same bar. You get to know people that are really only your friends at that bar. And you get to know the people that are that's like their one thing that they go and do, right? Maybe once or twice a week. So it's a lot of that. You get kind of like the Cheers thing going at some points. And this is a very smaller bar in Las Vegas, kind of outside of the Strip. It's not like one of the big bars downtown or anything. And it's just really about the story about that community, that sense of community and all the friends that are there and how it might be the last time they see a lot of these people because they may only know them from that bar.
Right? They don't have a connection outside of that place. So they don't know. They're not going to connect somewhere else.
So needless to say, it gets a little sad at points because there's a lot of people saying goodbye to something they didn't know they loved as much or needed as much in their life. But yeah, it was a very interesting watch. And the Jennifer Lawrence movie, it's a weird one. We'll say it's a weird one. I will say she's absolutely brilliant in it.
Yeah,
it's really much like let's show how good Jennifer Lawrence is kind of movie as far as like her acting. But it is very, very
really good. Well, I mean that I think that she's one of those actresses or actors. I guess if you don't want to be sexist. That I've never been disappointed. Like maybe the movie isn't good, but I'm always pleased to watch her perform.
Yeah,
She's
and
good.
so I mean, I think this movie. At first, I was like, "Man, it's just weird." I don't know. It's a very slow burn as well as you're watching it. But then it kind of set with me after I was done watching it, and I was like, "That was pretty good." I think it's one of those where like you think about it more afterwards, and you're like, "I guess that was really good." I don't know. It's still I don't know. It's worth a watch if you like Jennifer Lawrence. Then it's definitely worth the watch. Robert Pattinson's fine in it. It's definitely not meant to highlight his acting at all.
Right.
It is literally there for Jennifer Lawrence to go off the rails and just be an absolute menace, like an absolute menace in this movie.
That's cool.
But I don't want to, I don't want to go too much away if you're going to watch it. So, or for anyone else.
I'm definitely.
It just recently came out, so
definitely going to watch that one. For me, I can't remember what we talked about last time, but we went. My son and I went and saw the new Avatar film in theater in 3D. After watching the first two movies at home because he hadn't seen them, so we spent the 3 days in a row watching an Avatar movie every day, and then that was fantastic. I highly recommend going to see this new Avatar movie if you've enjoyed any of the previous ones. This one's just packed to the gills with action and spectacle, and doesn't waste any time getting to what you go to see a movie like that for. So yeah, I enjoyed it very much, and then it motivated me. I bought the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game a couple years ago, and it's just been sitting with me not playing it, and I had it downloaded because I was planning to play it, and then watching those movies really motivated me. So now I'm 5 or 6 hours into that game, and I'm having a pretty good time with that. So
it's a franchise that I've never watched. I heard things early on about the first movie. I know they spent a ton of money on special effects and CGI and trying to make that thing this big spectacle to go see. And then when I didn't get to see it in theaters, I was like, well, I guess I'll watch it at some point. And that just never happened. So I've never seen any of those movies. There's nothing I don't have a hard reason that I haven't seen them. I just haven't seen them.
Right. And Cassie is not a fan of them. So it's just Xander and I. And I've gone to see, I think, one of these movies by myself at the movie theater before. I think it was the first one. But that being said, they're not some unbelievable story. I mean, it's a pretty basic story being told, a story of, family and community and loyalty and conserving what is the natural world, so to speak. So it's not so much about the story, and it's more about the spectacle of it all. It's unbelievable because it's they really film real people. And all their, not just the motion capture, but what they call, I forget what they call it, performance capture, because there's actually a camera and dots on their face, as well as they're filming the people as they move around in performance capture, studio green screen. But then they're actually everything, because there's lots of close-ups on these characters' faces, and all the emotion that you see in these obviously animated blue people are actually the actors, and everything they're doing. So I don't know. I really enjoy them for what they are, but they really are meant to be seen with a movie theater screen and a big sound system and everything. So
yeah, I remember the first time I ever heard about anyone doing that full-on facial capture was for Rockstar's video game LA Noire. Because
I love that game.
They did all of that as well, where they mo captured as well as did facial captures, and they called in a bunch of extras. So Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb, he's a journalist, video game journalist. He came in, so his character is in the game. They did his facial scan and performance for the lines and stuff. It's really neat.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those movies. I heard about what the original story of the flick was, and I was like, I'll get around to it, and then I just never did. How was the game? I guess is the burning
I'm
question.
really, really enjoying it. It can be as deep as you want. So there's a lot of like a ton of side quests that are just all over the place when you're running around. Like I'm on this one little, I'm not doing the main story right now, so I'm running around trying to find these ingredients to cook this meal for this guy, and that I met at this camp. And like one of the ingredients is super easy to find, the other one's like freaking impossible. I've spent like 2 hours just running around, which is fine because it's such a beautiful world to just run around and look at everything. And you learn a lot about like the environment. You can inspect all these different animals and trees and plants and things and just learn about it, and it all goes into a guide. So then you can look at the map and look at the biomes and learn where different things are, so on and so forth. So there's quite a learning curve actually to playing it, and then you just get more familiar with what biome you're in and kind of where these various things you're looking for are going to end up showing up. But this one fruit that I'm trying to find, and I have to find it in a certain quality, is freaking impossible. I'm pissed about it.
How close are you to just looking up where it's at?
I've watched a video, and the guy in the video and people in the comments under the video are like, yeah, I still haven't found it in that superior quality, because I found one last night when I played, and yeah, it wasn't superior quality, so it doesn't count. So I basically have to start over, because I took it and I'm like, that should work, right? And it didn't. The guy's like, he's like, have you tried it? And like when I brought it back and cooked up the thing, I was like, yeah. And then he's like, try again. I was like, damn it.
So it wastes the ingredient as well.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
It wastes the good, because I had a good ingredient for it, because it's 2 ingredients. So one is a mushroom, the other one's like this shell fruit of some sort. So the shell fruit is really hard to find. It's like in the quality that I needed it. So anyway,
I was doing some ingredient hunting myself over the weekend. I restarted Fable 1, Fable and the Anniversary Edition.
Nice.
And there's a quest kind of not as bad as that, but it is, if you're doing a good level quest, it's called The Sick Child, and you're trying to find these 4 blue mushrooms. Basically what it is this kid is zonked out of his mind, and this witch wants 4 of these blue psychedelic mushrooms, and then she'll give you an elixir that'll fix this kid. But what they don't tell you, because it's a side quest, which is the next question I was going to ask you, is that really to get all 4 of these mushrooms, you have to progress the story into these different areas to get it, which I did not know. So I'm just running around looking for these damn mushrooms to the point where I had to look it up, because this is a game that I haven't played since, I don't know. I started playing it again like 4 or 5 years ago when they did the emulation stuff with Xbox One, where you could go back and play some of this stuff. And I got like hard locked, so I never went back and played it. So I restarted playing it. And I know for a fact the teenage me would have just immediately not did this side quest, because it was pretty annoying.
That is something that I like with context to my game, that I've learned that it's like, all right, well, I do level up as time goes along, and I can improve my gathering skill to where I can like spot the quality of things easier. So I might just wait. I might just put that quest aside and come back when I'm more leveled. So.
Yeah, it was giving me those kind of vibes, because I just did this with the stupid Sick Child side quest in Fable, which I am pretty much just finished the arena in that game, which by the time you finish the arena, I'm about 2 hours of finishing it, and I've been doing everything. And I think I got about 12 hours in the game so far. It is a lot shorter than what it was originally touted to be. Like Peter Molyneux, the producer of that game, the lead developer, I remember like reading game magazines back then and back in the day, where he was specifically talking about, and you'll get to see your character age and the changes of the seasons and like all this stuff. Like it's going to be one of the massive multiplayer or like massive RPGs that we see now.
Yeah.
He swung for the fences, but the game itself is really, you could probably finish the entire thing in like
Well, there's
if you're rushing through it, you could probably finish it in like eight hours. You know, it's not as big as what he was proclaiming.
sure, but I mean that's the first, and there's 3 of them, and then I know that I know like Cassie and I were really into that Fable Legends beta that failed, sadly.
Yeah,
Like they canceled it. Freaking Philly Spence. I just want to punch him in the nose.
Not Philly Spence.
He ruined such a good game by canceling at the last minute. But anyway, I guess they were even though they shut down Lionhead Studio, which Peter Molyneux was the head of, I think that they still retain the Fable license. Microsoft does. So supposedly they're making a 4th Fable game.
So they're supposedly making a 4th one, but they're also remastering the first game with all new graphics and updated game engine and story, and we'll see how that is, because that's part of the reason I'm replaying this.
It's to compare when you play the remaster.
So there is a fun glitch if anyone out there decides they're going to want to play Fable Anniversary after this. If you buy something cheap like apples, which is in your food storage, and you go to sell those apples, and this is something I found out just this time of playing it. If you hit left on the D-pad and A at the same time, it will flip to where your like rubies and emeralds and diamonds are. And what it will do is it will sell the apples for the price of the ruby and diamonds. So instead of selling like 1 ruby, it'll sell like 160 apples for the price of a ruby. So you can become really rich really easily, really fast. It's like something broken in the UI. Another fun thing that I hit in that game, and then we'll go on to the main topic of the show. I guess we need to talk about some books here. The other thing that I ran into is there's one fight that's always been really hard. You fight this chief. It's in one of the last towns you go to, and you have to hit him like 50 times. Like regardless of how, like my character's pretty almost maxed out at this point. Just from farming Hobbs Cave, which is, for anyone out there who doesn't know, a good way to get XP in that game is you can just endlessly run through the realms of Hobbs Cave and get your combat multiplier up, and it'll spam XP. That one I even knew back in the day, so that's probably nothing new for most people. So I did that. So my character's like pretty much max level, and I forgot how annoying this fight was. And this is the power of the internet. I go on and I'm like, how are people beating this? Because it's literally just one of the fist fight club things. Mm-hmm. And the one cheeky user on Reddit's like, just get a bunch of people to follow you, and then they'll all fight him for you. And all you have to do is wait for your opportunity to punch him. So when the fight starts and all those people who are following you, especially if you're playing as a good guy like I am, they'll just fight him for you, which is something I know I would have never done when I originally played this, but it was really, really neat. So it's been fun to go back and revisit that and kind of run into these weird things I'd never ran into. Like I never bought all the properties and everything, but like with that money glitch, UI glitch, and then this weird thing where you can kind of cheese your way through some of these super annoying fights. That fight is super annoying. If you get hit twice, you're done. Like you just have to restart, and then there's a time mechanic in that game where you have to go rest twice to get back to midnight so that you can restart the fight club thing, and you can't really save scum it. It's so heads up for anyone out there that has any problems with that. There is a funny way around that if you're playing as a good character.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you should have seen this guy. He's getting jumped by like 4 people. All right. Well, you heard the cold intro here, the intro to the show. How did you feel about Stephen King kind of opening a short story up with just happiness and joy and a love letter to the city? How did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, there's a feeling that you have when you start this story that is like it's like almost at odds with what you expect from Stephen King. You know, at least you know, if you're expecting, you know, something horror related, and the way this one opens is so kind of the opposite of that, then I was suspicious the first time I read this. So I was like, what is going to go wrong here? That was my feeling about it.
Kind of the same thing for me. This one like is I don't want to give away too much as we go through the notes, but it definitely is like it piques your interest. You're like, what is going on in the story? And by the way, I think I forgot to mention the title. But today we are talking about The Man Who Loved Flowers from Stephen King's Night Shift. And yeah, it's a good one. So we hear the intro. You see the old lady who thinks about this young kid being in love and not having a care in the world. And we reach the flower vendor, which is the next little section of the story. It's a chipped green hand cart, yellow jonquils and crocuses, carnations and tea roses, red, white, and yellow, and an old transistor radio spilling out bad news no one wants to listen to. A hammer murderer, Vietnam, nuclear testing. The young man hesitates, touches something already in his pocket, then he turns back, looking at the cart salesman. The cart salesman says, we got these two different kinds of flowers. We got the jonquils and the crocuses. Those are something you'd get for your mother. Those are $1. But she won't give you too much grief. You didn't spend too much money. She'll just appreciate that you thought of her. And then you got on the other side, you got the tea roses, which is what you want to get for your dame. She'll look at you and throw her arms around you and tell you how much she loves you. So at the end of the day, he talks him into buying the tea roses after they have a few little jokes there. And we continue down with the inner monologue of our main character. He bought her gifts, and we continue to walk down the street. How did you think about the interaction with the cart vendor?
That's one of my favorite. I mean, this is obviously a very short story. You read it in 15 minutes, but it's a very complete story. And so it's like you can just he paints the picture so well. It's New York, it's spring, it's a nice day, and love is in the air, and everyone's just that's just people watching, like you said, that old lady just sitting on the steps of her townhouse just watching him walk by, and just like he's got pep in his step and smile on his face, and like comes to the cart vendor, and it's just like so, I don't know, just like naturally. I think that's something that I love about Stephen King, is that he finds the humanity in everything. He's really good at I think he just watches people and captures what's the reality of real people. So I imagine that he spent some time in New York in the spring.
Yeah, and this very much is where we get a lot of Stephen King characters, and they're fully fleshed out, and in a lot of other short stories and in his novellas and books. This is more, he's letting you kind of figure out who these characters are, right? Like, and you kind of have an idea. Everyone's kind of talked to someone like this flower vendor at one point in time in their life, or an old lady who's kind of flirtatious for no reason. He's kind of just leaving it open to your interpretation of what's going on in the story. So as we continue down the road here, he's on his way to see the dame that he bought the flowers for, or what we can assume up to this point. And the city just kind of sees him as this nice guy who's in love. There's a woman who smiles at him, a cop who's stopping traffic who kind of gives him a little smile looking at the flowers in his hands, some teenage girls giggling and pointing at him as being kind of cute. And the whole time he's fumbling around in his pocket. He leaves the avenue, a narrow lane, garbage cans, cats screaming in the dark. And then we get the reveal, which is the only way I can put it. The woman that he brings the flowers to, she isn't Norma at all. She's just some woman in an alley. Norma has been dead for 10 years. The hammer comes out of his pocket, the thing that's been the hidden gun the entire time. The roses spill all over the concrete, red, white, and yellow. He swings the hammer to kill the scream. And then it's the end. This was not the first time. His name was Love, and the city smiles as he walks on. And as he walks on down the street, there's a couple that says, "Why don't you ever act like that anymore? You used to love me like that," with his blissful smile, thinking about his ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago, who we don't know what happened to. I'm assuming that he also murdered her. You get this funny interaction once again with two people on the stoop. And that wraps up The Man Who Loved Flowers.
Right? I mean, it's just one of those stories that's like, I mean, being a fan of Stephen King, I knew there had to be something dark coming. I didn't know what it was for sure at first. And then, then that happens, and it's like there's a little like the radio earlier on near the flower vendor, the radio, talking about the news and the Hammer murderer, and turns out he is the Hammer murderer. So
yeah, you get the tease at the beginning. We know something's going on because he keeps reaching into his pocket, but we don't know quite what. But from all the other things in the story, he just seems like a young man in love, and it's flipped on its head. It's a story that I really, really liked as a kid. It's young. I mean, it's really short. It's 14 pages long. There's the Audible version is available on YouTube. You can find it fairly easy. It's 14 minutes. It's very well read. I tried to do my best as the cart salesman here tonight for everyone. But,
spot on, Chris.
that takes us to the end of this one. I guess let's give it a Bachman score. What do you give? What are you going to give this one?
Well, it's short and sweet. It's a really good story. And I hadn't considered my Bachman score, so I'm going to give it a 7.5, just because it's a great story, but it doesn't have all the details that I want. But it's also like maybe just such I guess there's a lot that happens with a very few words. So that's what I'm going to give it, 7.5.
I'm going to give it an 8. This is a solid foray into true crime as opposed to our normal supernatural Stephen King here. It's very short, as you noted, but I think it's perfect for what it is. It gives you enough suspense and surprise of what's in his pocket and what's going on, as well as giving you kind of the beauty of the world around him in New York City in 1963. And it tells a whole lot with not having to be 2,000 pages long. So
very true.
From that standpoint, as far as on the Bachman scale of short stories, this one's way up there for me. So, and it's one that I continue to think about after reading it each time. It's kind of sticks with you.
It's one of those, like, I think about, like, I've heard Stephen King say before we wrap this up, he says, like when people ask him, where do you get your ideas? And he goes, I will see something that's just happening either on television or in the real world, and then I'll just have some idea, and then I'll marry those two things together. So I just imagine when he came up with the story, he was maybe either walking down some street in New York on a nice spring day and just noticed some people, some woman talking about maybe not him, but somebody else. And then the thought occurred to him, what if people that look happy, that are walking down the street, are actually happy because they just got done murdering someone?
Yeah, it does. It does definitely have that vibe to it, and I think it's brilliant, man. It's one that I really enjoyed. So for everyone out there, Happy New Year! By the way, this will be the first show of the new year for you guys. Chris, do you want to give everyone your socials and say goodbye to the lovely people out there listening?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Christopher Clawson, or my Instagram is Chris_Clawson 1982. Feel free to reach me at either of those.
And for me, it is Christopher.r.Patton on Facebook, Christopher.r.Patton on Instagram, and as always, www.boinkstudios.com, where you can find all of the lovely podcasts that are being put out there for you. So if you like music, movies, sports, video games, our show, it'll be all there, put there in a nice little list with different places you can go and listen to. Obviously, Boink Studios on YouTube and Facebook as well. Like and subscribe, all of that jazz. And that takes us to the end. Sometimes horror doesn't hide in darkness. Sometimes it carries flowers. Mind the stairs on your way out.